From the Foundation Studio right here on Biloxi's Back Bay, I want to welcome you to SuperTalk Outdoors, where we celebrate every single Monday at lunchtime the world-class outdoors of the state of Mississippi, because we are the capital of the outdoors in America, and we are proud of that. That is for sure. I want to thank you for joining us on the powerful SuperTalk radio, SuperTalk Mississippi radio network, or on SuperTalk TV at C Spire TV. But some of you are watching on YouTube or Facebook or listening on your favorite podcast. It's January the 22nd, 2024. You know, I'm excited that every week I get the opportunity to honor the men and women of the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. You know, these amazing people are entrusted with the responsibility of conserving and managing Mississippi's diverse wildlife and the fisheries that we have and the parks that we have the opportunity to enjoy. The work that they do is not only about the environment, but it's also about the economy. It impacts tourism. It also impacts the overall well-being of the communities, just about every community across the state of Mississippi. So I see it as my mission to actually celebrate them. And I like to say this, it's not just me, but my entire family is indebted to the work of these public service. I think all of us should be. But I do covet the opportunity every week to tell their stories, because I really believe this deep in my soul, that they're doing generational work. I'm also honored to be associated with, I say this almost every week, the incredible volunteer leadership of the Foundation. They're the title sponsor of SuperTalk Outdoors. And I remind our listeners every week that my comments are mine, not those of the Foundation. But it's important to say this. I know I've mentioned this before, but I would not have agreed to do this show if I could not have an independent voice, because I believe strongly that there has to be independent voices focused on conservation issues in the state, and I'm proud that mine is one of them. Let us remember that the public trust is the cornerstone of a thriving wildlife conservation effort in Mississippi, and it's our collective duty to cherish that. It's our collective duty to safeguard that. By doing that, we're actually taking a role in preserving and protecting Mississippi's wildlife legacy. And then we, the public, we can know that it was built on integrity and fairness and good science and the common good. You know, I'm a former publisher of a newspaper, and so I have a deep appreciation for this message. And I'm humbled that I have a role in this moment with the full support of the management at SuperTalk Mississippi Media and their vast network of radio stations and multimedia platforms. I really appreciate that. And I also have your support, the listeners. I get so much feedback from the listeners. And I believe this strongly, that we're all in this together. And as outdoorsmen and women continue to come together and join together around Mississippi's outdoor conservation efforts, you know, we're going to continue to stay the capital of the outdoors in America. And listen, I'm privileged to be here, and I'm honored that you are part of this show. And again, I appreciate the feedback, and you know, that's kind of my message for today. Now let's shift gears. I had the opportunity to visit with my friend Captain Sonny Schindler recently, and we decided we would invite him to be a part of. That was on my show, the Ricky Matthews Show. We decided to invite him to join me for a conversation about fishing in Mississippi, saltwater fishing for the most part in Mississippi, when the weather's as cold as it is. And I think it's an important message that the charter boat community of coastal Mississippi is sort of a thriving economy in and of themselves. And there's fishing actually that takes place in coastal Mississippi 365 days a year, of course, weather permitting. So I want to invite my friend Sonny Schindler back to SuperTalk Outdoors, and just first of all, just say welcome back, my friend, and how you doing?
I'm good. Good to see everybody again, man. Thank you for the invite.
Well, it's good to see you. But you know, it's true. I mean, we're dealing with some pretty cold weather. Had some more cold weather over the weekend. Have a little bit of thaw that we're experiencing now, thank goodness. But certainly expect a few more cold fronts to come through. But it's really what you and your guests can stand for, because there's fishing to be done, isn't there?
Yeah. Like we were talking about before the show, I'm going to try and give it a go tomorrow. If I have a little wind and little cool, but we'll dress for it. And it's my job to find those areas that are, one, safe areas to fish. Two, hopefully fishy, and three, get us back to that dock safe, hopefully with a box of fish. So that's my goal for tomorrow.
When people think of fishing in coastal Mississippi, they can't help but think about, being in the flats of Cat Island, or fishing at the oil rigs and seeing that beautiful water, or finding those schooling redfish and participating in that, or catching specks and redfish in the backwaters of coastal Mississippi. But they tend to think of it as kind of a summer thing. We're gonna do this during the summer. But as you and I share on a regular basis, as I live on Back Bay and we do some great fishing this time of year, it really is, there's fish to catch. And in fact, when it's winter time and we get these stiff north winds that draw a lot of the water out of the bays and bayous of coastal Mississippi, if you can find those holes, and you guys know where they are, there's some actually great fishing that can happen, isn't there?
It is. And, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably getting my hands on any bit of live bait I can. I know a few of the places are it's a little tough from the rains we had recently and the cooler weather, but I'm gonna load up with some shrimp, and we're gonna leave later. But yeah, I'm focusing on deep bends and canals and ditches, and it's you take whatever you can get this time of year. So if it's sheephead, I'm going to catch sheephead. If it's trout, heck yeah, we're going to catch them. Redfish is probably our main focus. If we can find some clean water, I'd really love to go do some sight casting. But I don't think we're going to. I think we've got cloud cover tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong, but it may be a little tricky for that. So we're going to put some smelly shrimp on and some wiggling shrimp, and hopefully find them a good day. But as much as our communities bounce back from, I'm sure for you and me, Katrina seems like it was a year or two ago, but yeah, we're coming up on what, 2 decades almost away.
Isn't that amazing?
And our winters seem like they're from a tourism standpoint, seem like they're just a week or two long. Back in the day, I used to take off for the winters and go jump on a tugboat or go back tuna fishing. Now it's possible to make some darn good money charter fishing. So far, it hasn't been a very lucrative winter, but it could change next week. So I'm going to be ready for it, and hopefully we'll have some tourists and snowbirds to take out here.
Hey, listen, you and I talked about this many times, but what's I think important about the role that most charter boat captains play in coastal Mississippi, certainly it's about finding fish and having a great experience in the water, but it's more than that. And what you have really sort of mastered is sort of the customer service component, developing a long-term relationship with these people. Lots of them are returning guests, and oftentimes it may be just if you can get to Cat Island, an opportunity to go to Cat Island, for example, and see an incredible mix of diversity as it relates to birds and all of that. But man, it's interesting how from one season to the next, how just birds, for example, can make a trip for you, can't they?
Well, I mean, yeah, and I know we keep talking about him, but Robert Smith, we got to get you linked up with that guy. He's definitely been our mentor and guide for the birding aspect of Shore Thing Charters. And here in the very near future, probably in that early spring for the fallout and whatnot, the majority of our business for that bit, late March, early April, we will be focusing heavily on birding. When the birds come and fall out at Cat Island. If you've never seen this, look, I grew up here, born and raised, been to Cat Island more than most, less than some. But when it happens and you're there for it, it is the wildest thing you've ever seen. You'll be sitting there talking just like you and I would be, if we were at a table, and these birds literally come and land right next to you. We've had them land on people, and they're just exhausted from coming across the Gulf. And we keep, freshwater drippers that Robert, again, this is Robert, we were very inexperienced is the word we're going to go with. We just didn't know. And Robert, he put feeders here, put drippers here. This is going to be a hot spot. Don't so much focus on this. And when we're still dialing it in, we're getting better. But Robert really made something.
Yeah, he can look at a bird and say, and I can't wait to have him on the show, but he can look at a bird and say, you see that bird right there? This is what that bird is. It came here from Colombia. And
Yep.
See that bird right there? It came here from Argentina. And this is where it's headed. And It's hard to imagine those little birds flying across the Gulf of Mexico, but they certainly do. And the diversities are absolutely amazing. Hey, listen, when we come back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation with Captain Sonny Schindler. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors from the Foundation Studio. I have my friend Captain Sonny Schindler from Sure Thing Charters. He's a regular on my show on the coast, the Ricky Matthews Show, and he joins me periodically here on this show because he brings a saltwater component to the conversation. So, as you know, a lot of folks are still thinking about ducks and deer as we wind the season down. Man, the fishing on the Mississippi Gulf Coast continues to kind of truck forward, and weather permitting, that can be some incredible fishing that takes place. Hey, listen, Sonny, let's take a step back for a second, and for people who have not heard us talk about this before. Sure Thing Charters is a bit unique in that you have a number of captains that work with you, a number of boats. You have the ability to trailer your boats, so you can kind of stay tuned on where the fish are and where the fish are biting, and you guys can converge on that geography wherever it might be. And you have the ability to sort of turn on a dime, and that's one of the things that makes you guys very unique, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, we're mobile, especially this time of year because with the fronts coming and going, your wind's going to shift quickly and usually powerfully. So, like tomorrow, that trip, I'm probably going out of our dock in Bayou Caddy, and then when the east wind comes, I'll go across town and launch in Pass Christian and fish Back Bay. So it's nice, and having that many eyes and ears and hands on the water. We're in constant contact. I was on the phone with Matt and Kenny minutes before you and I started, and neither one of them's fished in the last couple of days. Kenny's hunting. He's up or on his way to Holly Bluff, and hopefully he's got some warm clothes because I think it's gonna be chilly. But we're talking shop. Like, hey man, this time last year when that front came through, we worked this pocket, or remember that shell bed we fished, or that canal that had the deep water in it. Who's got bait? Where are you going? So, kind of mixing all that together. And look, I'm not going to lie. We have the best boat trailers made right here in Waveland, Mississippi. Sport Trail, I think I've told you numerous times that the factory, I almost turned by it to go pick up the boat, and they are the Ferraris of boat trailers. And I need to put an odometer on mine to see how many miles, because I think this one I've got has been through 2.5 trucks that I've ruined.
Yeah, I've got 3 boats, but 2 of my boats are Sport Trail, and as long as you got to just lube them and do your annual maintenance like you're supposed to do on a trailer, and those dudes will last forever.
Yep, all those Freemans and Yellowfins and Contenders, all those have Sport Trails under them, but. Yeah, man, it's just taking the days when you can get them and making the most of them. It's been a good year, dude. I've had, Margot got. I think we were talking about it last time. Margot got her first deer. Margot got another state record. I'm loving the way 2024 starting.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about that for a second. I don't know, Kyle. Do you have any of those pictures available? Because if you do, we got a picture for the Facebook, SuperTalk TV, and YouTube audience of Margot and her first deer doe. But I talk about it on this show all the time, man. I mean, if you get to take a deer, that's great. But the experience of being out in the outdoors with the kids and passing down the tradition and telling stories, and there's Margot Schindler. What a happy face that is. But I love that moment to be with a kid in that situation. You can't trade that experience for anything, can you, Sonny?
No, and look, big thanks to Captain Keith. I didn't realize it at the time. I know and love Keith and his family, and when he got us up there, he started us at holding, dry firing, scope, finding the target with a 22, and then he worked his way all the way up to I think we were shooting a 6mm.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Was it a 7mm 08?
No, I think it was a 6. It was some specialty round. Keith was a SWAT team sniper.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
he's so far ahead of anything I'm even close to.
Yeah.
When it comes to shooting in the woods, so that's another reason I went with him. But watching that progression, we spent half a day working up to the deer rifle and then tightening the groups before he would even, let us put on the camo and go get in the woods. But, watching it happen, watching her confidence build up and do that. And, I was thinking about it when we were going through all that, and Keith is a master of his craft. And I didn't realize it till afterwards. I sent him this real long emotional thank you. It was emotional, man.
I get it. I get it.
And Margot was the 55th 5.5 youth or novice that he had brought from like BB gun. Margot had only shot a BB gun prior to that, to deer rifle and harvesting a deer. 55.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, what an experience. And I will be eternally grateful to Keith and his family for letting us do that. But at the end of it, I was like, man, this is kind of what we do on that charter boat. You take people, I get them day in and day, man, I've never been on a boat, or I've never casted a spinning reel, or, I've never caught a speckled trout or a shark or a redfish. And so I get it. I get why Keith is so good at chartering, because he's just got that programming to definitely not make it about himself. He at no point, he could have easily put her and I in a box stand and said, I'll pick you up in a couple hours. But, walked her through everything from start to finish to cleaning the deer. Like, he was showing us all the joints and the bones and the loins, and but a lot of that carries over to the fishing. That's a big part of what we do, and that's why he's so darn good at it.
That's the same approach we take. I mean, the BB gun, we have a really good pellet rifle that's got a scope on it that's very similar to the scope that you'd see on the rifles, and you build confidence with kids being able to keep that crosshairs where it needs to be. You teach them safety. I mean, you gotta bring kids up where compromising safety isn't an option.
No.
It's so important, man. You can't do anything that is short-circuiting safety, because then it'll start to get programmed in them that it's okay. Mm-hmm. I understand they have to put a safety harness on, but I don't have to do that because my dad says it's okay if I don't have to do that. You got to create a culture of safety. She also got a state record. Tell me about that.
So this technically is her third. That species, I sent you the silver perch. They don't get very big. I think they get up to like 6 ounces. It's a tiny fish. It's in the drum family. It's in there with trout and redfish. Cyaenidae, I think, is the family. So she got it when we first opened Youth Records, when Ronnie Daniels and the Charter for Hire Task Force, this was one of the things we proposed to the commission at the Marine Resources, and it went through with flying colors. But that species, and a lot of this is just doing your homework. So the second I saw it on the list, the minimum requirement to submit a state record, it has to be half the size of the existing state record. Well, the old state record was like 4 ounces. So I knew right away. I was like, oh, heck yeah, we got this. So we got it the first try we got. And actually the picture behind me is, you can't see the fish, but that's her certificate and acknowledgement. Well, we were trying to beat the state record, and I thought we had it. It's hard to weigh a 4-ounce fish, but we went out, we found him in a canal. A buddy of mine had told me about that was closer. The first one we got at Cat Island. This one we got over near Bayou Caddy. And dude, it's so cool. You bring it to the headquarters in Biloxi, and they weigh it and do the autopsy type stuff and all. There was like 5 or 6 marine fisheries scientists and biologists coming down, and it's super crazy official. But you can also, let me see if I don't mess your show up. That one, that was her best one. That was the bull red. We got that one mounted, and she did that one. It's since been beat, but she had it for a few. I don't even know if she had it a full year, but the experience of going after it, getting it, and she nailed it. She set her goal. She said, "I want the state record." She didn't get the state record, but she bested her youth record. So,
well, that's actually cool. My son Jordan has been the same way. He's over the years held probably 7 separate state records, and
it's a big deal.
Still holds 1 or 2 now, actually. So yeah, it's been fun. He's very committed, and you just don't go out and do it. You got to work for it. Hey, yeah. Sonny, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you again. Hope I'll see
y'all
you
stay
soon.
Warm and stay safe.
We'll try.
Hey, we'll continue conversations when we get back on the other side. We'll see you after this.